Hey, big man, how's it going? Audio seems a
Hey,
little.
morning, Bob.
Oh, there you go. Your audio seems a little suspect.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good now. Let me
Perfect.
get my charger real quick. Hold on. I told Omar to join us. Um, so we'll see if he shows up. But I told him, since he's gonna have a listing coming up soon, might as well, both get, trained on it while we're doing this. It'll be a good rep for him.
Oh, for
So
sure.
just letting you know he might be coming on. Yes. All right, all right. So, did you do the homework?
Yeah, sir, it did.
All right. So, um, so tell me what you got from the second video, the one that kind of talked about the entire listing appointment. Don't worry so much about like, in that I was talking about like a presentation that I put together, but it was really more about the overall concept of what it's about. So tell me some of the things that you picked up from that video.
Yeah, so I'd probably say I mean, getting the right price is key. Pricing
Mhm.
the home correctly, and then as well as the presentation, all has like a big part of. I mean, whenever you're asking for a certain price,
Mhm.
um, and then let me see, um, and yeah, properly marketing the property as well. I'd say um,
Right.
I mean, with in explaining to the sellers that the team, everybody can be behind it, and how exactly you're gonna do so, how exactly you're gonna, um, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I put
That's you got a lot of the stuff there. My main point with that, first of all, our whole deal is we got to get control of this home, right? Like we have to dictate the strategy. If we want to be successful at listing a property, we have to do our best job really to get the owner to understand what it takes to sell the home, and give them and have them trust you enough to execute the strategy. Because what happens most of the time with listings is that you kind of lose control because you start listening to what the seller wants and all this stuff. I'll give you a perfect example. I've been a couple of times this week. I've had agents say, "What's up, Omar? I see you're heading in there." I heard a couple agents say that, oh, the seller wants to net this much. And it's like, I would never say this to the seller, but I don't give a shit what you want to net. Like, it's going to be what it's going to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't pick a number, and say, oh, I'm going to net this. It's like, wait, where's the market at? And how do I get the most for your home without, overpricing it and then hurting you and getting you less for your home, which is not what I want to do. Right. So, where
okay, yeah,
it's explaining that process to the seller is super important, and just really understanding in the video that there's really only four main things that are going to sell this property, right? It's like you're going to have to price it properly, right? You're going to have to present it properly. It has to look, feel, smell right. um, Access to the property, right? Being able to
right,
co-see it. A lot of coaches don't talk about this. Like, hey man, if you make it hard for me to show, you're gonna lose money and I'm gonna lose money. Like I
yeah,
have I have to be able to show this whenever the fuck I want, or at least close to it, however we can get it done. Right. And then finally, the other thing is you as an agent, how do you follow up? How do you navigate the deal? How do you negotiate the deal? And those are the four things that sell a home. Like all the other bells and whistles and shit, like, oh, I got this 5-point marketing, like it's all fluff. I like it. We're going to bring we can use the, I would bring the, there's a listing package in the marketing center for EXP. If you go into the marketing center in your EXP enterprise, there's a great listing presentation there. So if you don't want to come make up your own whole big thing, you don't have to, you can just drop your picture in that, bring some nice stuff. But I'm going to coach you on, like, that's, if somebody wants to see that, that's cool. You can leave it with them. But really it comes down to how you do the process, how you talk to the person, right? So if you watch the video, I told you that, the first thing, the easiest way to break the ice at a listing appointment is the story, right? Like, hey, or the tour, the story and the tour, I call it, hey, before we get started, it's like, hey, we're going to sit down in a minute. I want to chat with you a little bit more, but before we get started, can you give me a tour of the home? Tell me all about it. Tell me everything. And then as you're going through the home, they're the ones talking, you're asking questions and you're writing things down and you're noticing things and you're asking things and, hey, did you remodel this? I was like, oh, cool. When'd you do that? Awesome. Questions like the age of the air conditioning and the age of the roof and, different things that you need to know about the property, ask them stuff about their personal, like, hey, oh, cool. Who's this in this picture? Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, my son plays for Missouri and blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's fantastic. And just kind of really getting to know them. So that takes a lot of the pressure off initially, and even asking them questions like, out of curiosity, this is a beautiful home. Out of curiosity, why you even want to sell it? Why even move, and getting that, getting the story behind that. So that's how you're going to start, the process. And then as you go through that presentation, like I said, we'll go in there and we'll discuss pricing and stuff like that. My thing is that your confidence is going to come from being prepared prior to arrival, right? So that's where your confidence is going to come from, is understanding the numbers, understanding what's going to take to sell, understanding what's happening in the market, so that when you get there, you already kind of know the background story of this, right? You feel very confident on what you're going to do for them and how it's going to unfold and where you should price it, based on what you're seeing. So the preparation before obviously starts with the comp. So out of curiosity, so I actually didn't get the address from you. So we might as well do this together right now. Actually, don't tell me what you got. So you did come up with a number, correct?
Yeah. I came up with, two numbers. They're about
Don't give me the number yet. Let me just do it real quick. But good. That's good. And you haven't seen this home in person, right?
I saw it a long time ago in person. And I know the area as well.
Okay, you know the area. Fantastic. Okay, so let me share my screen real quick. So first and foremost, I'm just going to take you through my process. If I didn't know anything about this property, right? Let's say you were talking to somebody and it was a lead from the pond, right? And I've never been in this neighborhood. So let's just pretend that we're just, what's up, Omar?
I'm sorry, I was calling for open houses. I was listening.
It's all good, big dog. Hey, real quick, because Christy keeps telling me you like to be called Pedro. Is it Pedro or Omar? You tell me.
Omar.
Okay, that's what I thought. I think she's like, she keeps telling me, she's like, I think he goes by Pedro. I'm like, I don't think so.
Nah, that's my first name. That's my first name, but my middle name is Omar.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's do this. So I'll move you guys from the screen over here. All right. So what I would do is, okay, I have this address. So obviously this property is not listed. I don't know shit about it. So the first thing I'm always going to do is go into IMAP and check out the specs. So I want to know what I'm looking at. I don't know, as a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, whatever the case may be. Obviously you might've asked this to the client, but I want to get my specs so that I know how to comp it. Right. So I'm always going to go into IMAP. This property is in what county?
It's in Lake County.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go into IMAP here real quick and just get the specs. I want to know beds, baths, square footage, all that good stuff. Go in here, go to Lake County. And then what's the address?
It's 640 Andrew Street.
Okay, that's good. So I try to keep this simple in IMAP. IMAP is very sensitive. If I put slightly the wrong thing, ST instead of street, whatever. So I keep it very vague. 640 Andrew should pop it up.
Okay.
And then here we go. So John and Cindy Johnston, great.
Yep.
640 and then I'm going to scroll down here. And if for some reason you don't have the same sections as me in IMAP, is because you haven't clicked these different report sections, but I got everything here. I've got the sales. I got what they bought it for, 230 back in 06. I've got all that information, but really what I'm looking at is this beds bath. So it's a 4.2. Am I correct with that? So it's a 4.2 2010 heated square feet, built in 2006. I usually write this down somewhere because I'm going to start using this as, my basis for doing this. And I look here, what's it built out of? Okay, brick block, garage. It looks like it has a swimming pool. Okay, so ours is a 2006 home, 4.2 2010 square feet with a pool. Okay, now I got my specs. Now, if I don't know shit about the area, I usually will Google Earth it as well, because I'm just trying to learn it. Now, as a good agent, I would drive the area prior to it. So this is just a great thing that you can call the person and say, hey, like, I know you. So these are people John?
Yeah. Sir.
Okay. So, but if you didn't know them, you would be like, you could easily be like, hey, just let you know, in case you see me roaming around in front of your house. I'm not a weird person. I might come drive by your neighborhood maybe a day before, and I'll be rolling around just to kind of get a sense of the neighborhood and a sense of the area. So just letting you know that I'll be around. And, that'll make the seller feel like, man, like you really care. Like you're really trying to get like the whole story about my house. And also a good idea to take a picture of the exterior of the home when you're there. Say, hey, just let you know I was here, blah, blah, blah. It's just a good thing to do. And I'll also show you how you can do a CMA. And if you have the exterior picture of the home, you can drop it in and customize it. So it just makes it look like you're just like a top-notch freaking agent. Like you're like, man, you're like the best at this shit, right? All right, so we got our specs. Okay, so I went ahead and copied the address, and I'm like, if I didn't know shit about the property, I would go and just Google Earth it, just get a sense of Google Street View it, whatever, just to get a sense of what I got, because I don't know the area. I don't know what's going on. And I would look, sometimes you can tell it's, this is kind of hoodie, or, hey, this is a nice neighborhood. Okay, this is a typical. So I'm looking at this. Okay, cool. Pretty cookie cutter neighborhood. Looks like it's well maintained, just kind of getting a sense for the area, that kind of thing. So this looks like a pretty typical neighborhood. We should have some good comps in here. And if I didn't know the area, I might zoom out and be like, okay, what's close to here? Where am I at? And get a sense of it. But once again, you'd want to drive this property. But in this particular case, the property. So, we're pretty good to go. All right. So let's get to the comp part of it. So let's
And I saw you had a special display. It was Bob's comp display.
Yeah. So I like to have my own comp display. So if you want to go do that, you can go into my matrix, and you can go into my listen speed bar shortcuts home. Let's go to home. No, that's not what I want. Summary. They changed this up on me. Settings. Okay, so you go to summary, and then you go to settings, right? And then if I want to do custom displays, I go to custom displays, and you see I can actually create my own displays to have the columns that I want to see. So let's say like I have Bob's comp display here. So we'll go in here, and let's say I wanted to edit. I'm just going to edit the one that I've already got. But what it'll do is, if you notice, when you go do your comps, it has their whatever, and then you can actually go in there and put whatever columns you want to see. So if I wanted to see annual CDD fee, which I probably wouldn't, but if I did, I would just press add and add that as a column to my display, and it'll show up on my matrix. So we'll do this. So you'll see, like, yeah, I can just, like, all these I just added from here. So if I wanted, like, obviously, like I added average days on market, and I would put ADOM, boom, I would put add, and now that's going to be a column. And then over here, I can actually see them in the order that I want to see it. So if I wanted to see this ADOM before the pool, I could put it up or I could put it down. I can kind of just make this the way that I want it to do it. Okay, so just know that you have that ability. It just helps me comp shit quicker because you know how it is. They give you a long list of columns and half the shit I don't even want to see. I just want to see the main shit. So
Right.
so let's go residential detail. Okay. And I'm going to go active, pending, sold. Obviously, active is going to give me what my competition is. It'll give me some clues, but hey, if it's active, it doesn't really show me what it's sold for, right? Pending gives me a little bit more clues because now I know that the property is under contract. I don't know what it's under contract for, but I could usually tell by the amount of days it took to get under contract. So if it went under contract in 3 days, let's just assume it's around list price, right? Because why would it go so fucking quick, right?
Right.
And then sold is going to be your main your main information because it tells you what's sold. Now it automatically goes back 6 months. When I don't get enough sales in the past 6 months, my first thing to adjust is usually this. I'll try to adjust it to a year because I could always make some calculations and clues about that, and I can see more sales. Just so you know, this is more of an art than a science. I'm just looking at all the clues and saying to myself, okay, what do I believe this thing will sell for or attract the most competition for, right? I'm not looking to overprice this ever. It's the worst thing you can do. I'm looking to put it just at the right price to get massive competition so that I have contracts that are bidding against each other. That's going to put us in the best position that we can be. I usually put sales provision none because I don't want to see short sales, bank cones, or auctions. They're usually priced below. I don't necessarily need to do that in this market. There's just not that many of them. You know what I mean? So I can just leave that for right now. And obviously I'm looking for single family residences, although I'll probably be staying in that exact neighborhood. So it doesn't really matter. Now, what I usually do is I go to square foot heated and I put a range of 20% above and below, which I'm sure you saw in the video. So we had 2010 heated square feet. Okay. So I'm going to go 2010 heated square feet and I'm going to add 20%. Okay. That brings me to about 2412. So I'm going to make my top number around 2,500. Okay. I don't want to look at homes that are bigger than 2,500 square feet. Okay. Because it's just going to skew my numbers. It's not apples to apples. I'm not narrowing down by beds and baths just yet. If I get a shit ton of 4.2s, I will. But right now, if I get too specific early on, what will happen is I might not get that many comps, right? So I want to kind of look at a bigger picture and then narrow it down as I go along, right? So I go 2010 minus 20%, and my bottom is around 1608. Let's just do 1500. Let's give ourselves a little bit more room. So 1500, 2500 is the homes that I want to look at in this neighborhood. So then what I usually do is I'll go to the map, right? And I already copied the address from my map. So I'm going to drop that address here. If you see up there, if you see this section here, it says jump to address. It'll take me to any fucking address I want to, and it'll zoom right into that neighborhood. So I'm going to just put the address right there and bam, now I'm in the neighborhood. Okay. So here I am in this neighborhood. I'm taking a look and I really want to stay in the neighborhood if I can. Now I'm looking at this and oftentimes you can tell what's the same neighborhood, you know. These seem to be the same neighborhood, but sometimes it changes. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't, you know, if you know this area, is this a different neighborhood on the other side of Country Club?
Yeah, it is.
It is. Okay. So it looks like this. So this is their neighborhood is just this little section here.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting because right now I'm not seeing any sales, right, in the past 6 months. There's no actives, there's no pendings, and there's no sales. And I don't know if that's because it's a very popular neighborhood or whatever the pricing, but I really would love to take a look at, because for instance, okay, let's look at the 4.2s over here, selling for 475. Like if I'm looking at this neighborhood, I already saw the Google Earth in this neighborhood, right? See, this style of home already looks way different than what I saw in the Google Street View, right? Like this looks like a bigger lot. These look like a little bit nicer homes in this neighborhood, to be quite honest with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that worries me because that's not the same neighborhood. And let me see when this this was actually an older home, but these actually look kind of nicer to me. So would you agree that Country Club Hills is a nicer neighborhood than what you're in?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's why I like to stay in the neighborhood, right? If I can. So let's go ahead and do something here. Let me go back to my criteria and let me go back a year and let me see if I can see some more sales in that area. Okay, so it looks like there was one sold right here at the beginning of the neighborhood, right? So here's one at 268 that sold within the past year. Okay. So let's take a look at that one. But you see the stark difference. This is a 4.3. This is a 4.2. This one sold for 268 within the past year, and this one sold for 475 within the last 6 months. So, that's a big fucking difference, man. So let me take a look at this one. Let's take a look at this one. We don't have a lot to go on, but this is interesting. So I look at all the clues. So the first thing I look is how long did it take to sell? 2 days. Okay. Now they listed it at 289, and for some reason they accepted 268 within 2 days, which I don't know why they would do that unless they needed to sell fast and this was a cash deal. Okay. I don't know. But let's look. I always look at the lovely 2-story home. Was a former model home, has access to Lake Nettie. The home has a beautiful kitchen, lots of countertop space, blah, blah, blah. Why do I read the description? Because they might say something like brand new roof 2019, new AC 2020. That makes a difference. Like, if yours is like 20-year-old roof and an old AC, and these guys one's better, than you kind of have to adjust for that kind of thing, right? So this is a 4.2.5. So very similar to yours, 2240 square feet, very similar size to yours. But I'm a little bit, I don't understand why they sold for this much less. So I'm going to look for clues. I'm going to look for clues on that. Okay. Cash, conventional FHA, all information. So I look at realtor remarks, buyer and buyer's agent advice to verify, all information need not guaranteed. I have no, let's see if it's sold VA, as a VA loan, somebody sold VA. Let's see. I don't know why they would have done that. It's weird. Not in this market, you just don't see it. You don't see it unless they overpriced it going in and they lowered it, but I don't see it unless they sold the family too, Let's take a quick look in case they did. So I can go here to IMAP right here. I can go here to the IMAP and see who they sold to. So they sold guarantee David Perez, borrower. No idea why they did that. So it's just a weird. Yeah, go ahead.
You think that could be what it appraised that?
Yeah, actually, that could actually be. That's a good perception there. Maybe they went 289 and appraised at 268. So once again, I'm a little bit. I don't have a lot to go on in this particular neighborhood. I'll go back. I'll even go back, because I can adjust. I know the market's gone up, so I can kind of bump the price up, right? So this one we just looked at. Let me see when it sold. Sold date was July 30th, 2021. Okay, so like I could easily see this being a $280,000 sale at this point. Right? I mean, with the way the market's been going up, at least 280, right? Like, so that's the way I think. I'm like, okay, this home, like if it's sold today, I could almost guarantee you it'd sell for 280, like at least, maybe more. I don't know the way things are going in the market right now, but like, for instance, let's say we were using this property here. So the sold price per square foot is how I compare apples to apples. And just to get numbers, just to kind of start getting a number in my head. So do me a favor and take 280, because that's what I believe this property would sell for right now, 280.
Okay.
All right. And then divide that by the heated square footage, 2240, and tell me what you get.
And that's the full 280,000.
Yeah. Let's pretend it sold for 280. Okay.
And divided into
divide 280,000 by the heated square feet. Okay.
125.
125. Okay. So you see that the sold price per square foot here was 119, but that was based on 268. So 125 is where I'm thinking this would have sold at, but I'm still not convinced that this is it's just one comparable. I'm not convinced yet, but let's just for shits and giggles multiply 2010, which is your heated square feet, by 125.
2010 by 125.
Yeah.
251. 251,250.
Okay. So now we got a number in our head, just to have it. I'm not telling you it's the final number. I'm just telling you we got a number. Okay. So now I'm gonna play around with this a little bit more. Let's go back even more. Let's go back 500 days. Just in case that was a weird anomaly, maybe we find another sale in there. Okay. There's two more. There's a 4.2 at 250. Okay. And there's a 4.3 at 279.9. Okay. So that's a little bit, these are older sales, but let's take a look at the 250. Okay. Man, that's a nice looking, that's a that's a nice looking house. Right. I mean, that,
Yeah.
I mean, this tile is kind of suspect, but
yeah.
It's clean. Like I look at this and I say it's not updated, but it's clean, right? The exterior looks great. It needs updating, right? These are old cabinets and counters, but so this sold for 250. Now, do you know anything? So just so you know, the number that we're getting right now, I haven't seen the property. You might walk into the property and be like, holy shit, you guys fucking remodeled the shit out of this motherfucker, right? And then you're going to adjust your number when you get there. I just want you to have a number when you walk in, and then I want you to make your best expert opinion about what it could sell for based on it being upgraded. So that's what we're looking at now. So this property, looks like it's clean and good shape. Not necessarily updated, but let's go ahead and read the description. 4.2, blah, 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 enjoy the whatever, go small, blah, blah, indoor laundry. And this one did not have a pool, I believe, by the way, right? No pool. Okay, so yours has a pool. We got to take that into consideration. That doesn't necessarily add a ton, by the way. Not everybody wants a pool. A pool has a lot more value in like a bougie neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, if you buy like a $700,000 home, you expect to have a motherfucking pool, and it's probably going to be dope, right? But like, in this, in this neighborhood, maybe 5,000-10,000 for a pool. I don't know. It's not necessarily a need for the people in this neighborhood, but definitely could add maybe a $10,000 for the pool. We'll see. All right. I don't see any upgrades here, like new roof or anything like that. Sold in 10 days. Same thing. I'm very surprised that it was listed at 259 and sold for 250. That shit doesn't even happen, but it was, an older sale. This sold in 2020, which is a different game. But I look down here as well, John. I also look at the seller credit, right? Because if it was a seller credit, let's say they give them $5,000 towards closing costs. Guess what? The sale price was really $245 then.
Okay.
You understand? Right? So,
yeah.
So, let's see, terms conventional, blah, blah, blah. So this one was, funny enough, was also at 119 a square foot that it sold, but it's older. I think that I literally believe the same property is 275 right now. You know what I mean? Like that's at least maybe 280. It's just the way the market is right now. So this is an interesting situation, and I'm glad we see this situation because it happens sometimes. It happens that I'm not getting a ton in the neighborhood that is recent. Now let's look at this one. This is a 4.2, very close to your square footage. This one spent 112 days on the market. I have no fucking idea why, but we'll find out.
I think I went and showed that home.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, so it was listed for 279 and it sold for 279. But look at the seller credit, 8,500.
Okay.
Right. So it's so close to yeah, so close. Yeah, so closer to 270, really. So it's so closer to 270. And then you can also do this, guys, is go to click on the arrow to view history, right? So what happened here? Why did it spend so many fucking days on the market? So it looks like it went on the market in September at 279. And then in January went pending and then sold in February. I mean, it just spent it just seems like a lot of days on the market. Maybe it was overpriced for the time. And then as the market started to heat up, somebody gave them the money they wanted. So this sold for about 270. In today's world, let's see, that's a 2-1 2021. We're in 2022. I'd say, this one might be, like I said, these days has some conservation. Oh, I see this. Well, first of all, part of the reason was you had a shitty agent. Okay. These pictures are terrible. Okay. Just to give you guys some pro tips when you guys do your listings. Your first 5 pictures should be the sexiest. Okay. So don't do this whole thing where you're taking me around the fucking house and showing me the foyer and then, the mud, like bullshit. I want the 5 sexiest pictures. The first picture has to be exterior front. Okay. But besides that, if the lake view in the back is the sexiest thing, I want that picture 2. If the kitchen is the sexiest thing, I want that picture 3. You know what I'm saying? If the pool area is the sexiest picture, I want that picture 4, right? So remember, people are swiping. They're just going to look at this shit 3 times. Now, these pictures are not that great. You can tell that this one's crooked. This one's taken with a camera, right? This is my second picture. I told you my first 5 pictures are my sexiest pictures, and I'm looking at dead grass and bushes, right? Like the shit don't make no damn sense, right? And yeah, it's terrible. Oh, great. Now I'm looking at the shitty not mowed backyard, and that's my 3rd picture. Like, fuck, I've already wasted two pictures. And this is cool. If this is my way of saying you're not gonna have neighbors. I don't know what's going on back here. You have a nice grass view, but still, I don't know about this picture. Another one of this. So now I'm on picture 5 and I wasted all this shit. Okay, now pro tip. Okay, this is a shitty picture too, but even shittier because they took it with the camera this way instead of this way, right? You see all this space here on the right and left side. It looks amateur, it looks rookie, and it looks like shit. You want the picture to fill up the whole screen like this, right? But now we know it's a camera phone and you did this, right? Always take pictures horizontally, right? And what value does this add to me? Like what does this excite me to go see the fucking home? You have a hallway. It looks gray. Is this black and white? I don't know what the fuck's going on. Okay, does this excite me? Hey, carpety stairs. I want to look at this shit, right? Hallway. Take the picture vertically. Oh, awesome. Doorway again. Vertical picture. Like these are all shit. So that's part of the problem is that the agent didn't really market this property. Look at this. Who gives a fuck about this room? It's just carpet. Like I haven't seen. Oh my god. Now we got. Now we got a fucked up picture. Like another one. they don't even fucking care, right? Like they don't even fucking care. Who is this fucking agent? We need to recruit this motherfucker. Hold on. Florence Manzour with a Maritime Realty. Okay, somebody called them up and tell them that they need to come to the Alliance and get on Davos team real quick because this shit is bad. Okay, this shit is bad. So let's go. Let's see if we can find a good picture. I haven't seen one yet. No, still terrible. You know, still terrible. Still, I haven't seen one good picture. Oh, a bathroom. Oh, with the toilet seat up. Awesome. Vertical picture. Fucking awesome. Oh, by the way, it looks like they stole it from another person's pictures because it says Stellar MLS on. I don't know. Oh, maybe that's. I don't know. I haven't seen a good picture yet. So this one, I would say, hey, I know why it took 112 days on the market. Now I know. Shitty agent and the property needed a lot of work. Carpets need to be removed, needs to be repainted, all that kind of shit. Still sold for $279,000 though, right? It's your same size. Now it's at 127 a square foot, right? Before we were working off of 125 a square foot, right? So all that being said, right? Like I'm getting some clues here. So what I'm taking in from what I just saw here was, okay, yes, I'm looking back way back in the day, but I can make some adjustments for the fact that the market has gone up significantly since 2021, right? So yeah. So my thing right now is okay, you know, I know the market's gone up. I've got some older sales, you know, as long as my property's in good shape in this market, you know, I'm almost thinking that, well, I don't even tell you what I think yet. What do you guys think? What do you guys think we could list this for and actually get?
I'll say like so 250.
You're at 250?
I'm at 250.
Okay. Where you at, John?
I mean, based off the clues and the comps, I mean, 250 isn't far off, but I'd probably say like 270.
270. Okay. I'm closer to John on this. I might even be more aggressive than John on this. Here's what I'm looking at, right? So look at this piece of shit, right? That sold for 270. We just looked at it. Mm-hmm. Now that was partly bad aid. So if it was if that sold for 270 and that sold in February of 2021, I'm starting to think, wait a minute, like if ours is in good shape, you know, it just depends, you know, if you look at that property, I would say, you know what, I would say, so you said 270. I personally am a little bit more aggressive, and I'm only more aggressive because the market has been so fucking aggressive. And right now, right, look how many active properties there are in that neighborhood. How many?
0.
I got 0 competition right now. What do you think is going to happen when one pops up active? And
people are going to hop on it, I think.
What do you think is going to happen when it pops up active and it's still in the 2s, right? Where do you find a home in the 200s anymore? Right? Look at the neighborhood next door.
Good old Lake County.
Look at the neighborhood next door. 475 for a 4.2. So now I'm thinking, hey, wait a minute. If this property is in good shape, I'm closer to 279.9. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not certain you won't get 300 for it. If you list it at 279.9, I'm thinking that you're probably going to get 7, 8, 10 offers, and you could potentially sell it for 3. Now, if you wanted to get super aggressive, you would list it at 299.9. I wouldn't suggest that. I would say the highest you would list it at to get the most competition would be maybe 289.9. Okay. But if you wanted to get like massive attention on that, I would say 279.9. Now, I got these numbers in my head, right, coming in. So when I go to the listing appointment, I get the story, I get the tour, I get the motivation, I'm building that rapport. And, you know, I get to know, hey, out of curiosity, what were you thinking as far as, you know, pricing this property? Let me get their take on it real quick. They're like, because they might be right in line with you, you might be more aggressive than them. I just want to know where their head's at, and just say out of curiosity, where did you get that? How did you come up with it? I don't necessarily disagree. I want to kind of hear, what your thoughts were on that, and let them kind of talk it through. And then basically I just go back to them and be like, all right, well, I've done the research. And matter of fact, if you want to, what I often do is I'll save this search. So, I can save a search that I did. Like, let's say I wanted to just save this search, and then maybe even show them a little bit of the next door, just to kind of see what the difference is. But let's say I just want to say, hey, I'm just focus on your neighborhood right now, right? I'm gonna save this search. Well, I can go down here and go save and put new saved search, and I could put, comp for Cindy and John or whatever. And when I am at their house, if I was dealing with like a C personality, somebody who wanted to see the details, I'll pull this up. I'll be like, hey, this is what I'm looking at, right? So I'm looking here, blah, blah, blah. This is how I came up with my numbers. I saw this. I know the market's changed a lot. There's not a lot of sales in your neighborhood. That's why I'm pushing the prices up a little bit for you, and explain everything we've talked about, all the clues and stuff like that. This is a weird one. There's oftentimes another property in the neighborhood that did shit wrong. And then I can say, hey, look at these guys. They spent X amount of days on the market. They had to lower their price, and look where they ended up getting. See, I would have priced that property here and had gotten competition and hopefully bid the price up. Because what I'm going to tell the seller is our job is not to overprice it. Because if we overprice it, what will happen is this: if I price it wrong on the upside, the people who search for properties search based on what they qualify for or what they can afford. So what happens is they never see your property on their searches because you overpriced it. So what happens is, and by the way, people just like me are looking at your property, doing the same comparables and saying, hey, man, maybe this seller's out of their mind. They're overpriced it by $30,000. Do we even want to go show that? Like, do we even want to deal with a situation where I have to knock a seller's thinking down $30,000 just to get the deal done? You know what I mean? Like, so you're putting yourself in a terrible position where nobody's seen your property, and every day that you spend on the market, you get less sexy. You lose leverage, right? The number one thing me as an agent am looking at on a listing is days on market, right? That one for 112, I would not have given them 279. Matter of fact, part of the reason they paid $8,500 in closing costs was because they fucking spent 112 days on the market. Because if they would have priced it right from the beginning, I'd be like, nah. I was like, I ain't giving you shit, right? But
yeah,
it's just a terrible, terrible strategy. So what I usually do, okay, what I usually do is, number one is I will print out these listings. Okay, so in addition to the other shit I'm bringing, right, I will take these 3 listings and I will print them, right? I'll print these listings, and when I print them out, I usually print them out, and what I'll do is I'll do the single, to not waste paper, I usually do the broker synopsis single page PDF. Okay, this one right here. Okay, that'll give me all the information, everything, realtor remarks, everything there. And what I'll do is I'll print those 3 things out and I'll mark them up. Like, I'll circle little clues on there. Like, you see this one, it took this many days to sell. I'll circle the days on the market. You see here, it actually didn't sell for $279. It actually sold for $270 because they gave them the $8,500 credit, right? And I'll do all these little circles, right? So I've got this, like, this is a total C personality thing, right? But I'm bringing it with me as something that I can kind of show them right there, okay? In addition to that, and by the way, this is my style. You guys come up with a better style, no problem. This is just how I roll, okay? So now I can come in here and you can go to this Cloud CMA right here. So if you want something fancy with a lot of paper, right? Something that looks thick and pretty, okay? Cloud CMA is what you can do. So you saw that I had highlighted the three, comps that I wanted to use, right? You highlight whatever comps are going to prove your strategy, right? And then, you can put the client's name here and all that kind of stuff. And then you can put the your address here, right? 640 Angry, blah, blah, blah. And then you can actually drop that photo I told you to take right here. So at the front of the package will be the exterior front of their own home. So it'll be super customized, right? And it's already going to pull the 3 listings here. So I'll just press fetch listings. You guys can play with this cloud CMA. You can add pages, remove pages, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and publish it.
Neat. Okay.
Okay. And then I'll just show you what it looks like so that you can see, and I can bring this with me. It's just, like I said, I use it more, to be quite honest with you. All right, this is like the digital version. I use it more to show pictures, to be honest with you. So if I'm trying to show them, because sometimes they'll be like, yeah, but this person's house down the street sold for 340. But I can show them, yeah, but they put $60,000 into their home. Look at the interior. Those are new countertops, new cabinets. That's a brand new kitchen. That's new tile throughout. They've got a new roof, which is $15,000, $20,000, and they've got a new AC, as you can see in the description. Now, I can sell it for 340 for you, but you'd have to put $60,000 into it for me to get you that price. Are you prepared to do that? If you are, then I will absolutely certainly list it for that price. Oh no, I don't have that kind of money. I can't do that. Okay, then we have to adjust, because for somebody to get that same caliber home, they have to put that kind of money in, right? So this is what the report will look like. Super detailed, has your information in it, blah, blah, blah. There's some old pictures. Obviously, I've been doing real estate for a while. It shows a nice map of, here's a subject property. Here's where the other properties are. It'll give you the sold, the sold status on there. It'll give you some averages, 266, is the average sold price, blah, blah, blah. And it can help you, because you can circle this and say, actually, I want to actually sell yours for more. The average price is 266. To be quite honest with you, I think 279.9 is probably the right price for your home, right? It'll make them feel good, right? So I adjust this to make sure it gives me my case. But what I like about this is that I'm able to show them the pictures. So if I pull up to the home and the home looks more like that other one we looked at, that's kind of like blah, that kind of beigey color on the outside, you can tell this is new paint job, red door, nice little feature in the front. I'm like, dude, that makes a difference. Oh, they're all tiled throughout. You've got carpet, you've got this. It helps me show them why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. So I come to the listing, prepared with my comp and my value, right? I come there with my the 3 or the 4 comp, whatever comps I'm using already printed out. Plus I'll come with this, right? I'll come with this in case they want something more meaty, and I can show some pictures with it. And then in addition to that, you can do the listing package that you'll find in EXP Enterprise for EXP to give them something pretty. To be quite honest with you guys, most of the time I show them none of this, because I come in knowing my shit. I build great rapport, and I tell them what the strategy is. Says, hey, I ask them questions, I figure things out, but I already know the numbers. I'm confident. I'm pretty confident. I know what's going on in this market. I think we're going to get a lot of attention. I think this property's priced in the 2s. You can see that the neighborhood next door is in the 4s. So we got that going for us. We don't have any other active properties in this small neighborhood. So we don't have competition right now. It's a great time to put it on the market, right? And don't ever worry about underpricing the home, because if we were to underprice the home, all it does is increase the funnel and the attention that we're going to get. So if we were to do that, the result would be more offers, more attention. And that's what we want. I want competition. I want multiple contracts so that I can go to each one and say, give me your highest and best. Give me your highest and best. Give me your highest and best. And then when they get done giving me their highest and best, I'm going to go back to the first guy and say, hey, here's the new highest and best. Can you beat it? Give me your highest and best. Give me your highest and best, until I push that price all the way up to the top of what the market's willing to do. Okay. But I'm not going to overprice it. I'm going to make sure that we get maximum attention on this property. Okay. So that is the overall gist of this, the listing appointment. If you have all that put together, you're going to win. As long as you build that rapport and they like you and they trust you, and you come in with a great strategy, fantastic. Okay. You're going to win this thing. Okay, so that's the general gist of what you need to go in there. Now, obviously, the other part of this is you're going to have the paperwork. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole list. I'm going to give you some more homework. Okay,
Okay.
you know, the listing agreement is pretty simple. So I have a video on that. I'm going to have you do it, and then we're going to review it before you go. But here's some of the other things you're going to need. So I want you to get all the paperwork that you need from the sellers possible. So the property was not built before 1978, so we do not need a lead-based paint. Okay. Now looking in the neighborhood, if I look here, it probably hasn't.
There is an HOA.
There's an HOA. Okay, perfect. So we're going to come in there with an HOA addendum as well that we're going to bring to the listing. I want them to pre-sign that. I can see that the one on these houses here are $350 annually. Just double check that. That's sometimes how I get the information for. That's interesting. You know that the association manager is your seller, I think. Look at this. Cindy Johnston. Cindy Johnston's your seller, and she is actually, she lives in the neighborhood and is the contact person for the HOA. Interesting. So very interesting. So she knows a lot about what's going on in the neighborhood. Just know that. So you know, these little clues come up. Like I'm like, damn, I'm like, I recognize that name. So it has an HOA, so we're going to bring an HOA addendum and make sure that gets filled out thoroughly. And you're going to need a seller's disclosure. Okay, seller's disclosure. So you're going to bring that with you. That's something that they're going to fill out by hand, right? You never want to fill that out in advance, and it's just a questionnaire on what they know about the home. So we're going to get that filled out and pre-signed by them as well. So we're going to have our listing agreement, our seller's disclosure, our HOA disclosure. Okay.
The seller's disclosure, do you go through the questions with them, or do you have them?
Not usually. I'll just say, hey, here it is. Let's go ahead and get this filled out while I'm here. If you have any questions, let me know. You know, but they're pretty self-explanatory. But what I will tell them is that, you know, on the seller's disclosure, it says yes, no, or don't know. Hey, look, if you're not 100% sure, just put don't know, right? That, you know, it's fine. You know, this is all the seller's disclosure is our best account of what we know. So if you don't know, you don't know, right? So bring the seller's disclosure with you. The other thing, I believe that, you know, I stopped doing production. So I sometimes don't remember. I believe we still need a wire fraud. I think it's required. Let me look at Sky Slope real quick. So if you ever want to know what you need for like a listing or something, you know, you can go into Sky Slope and pretend like you're going to do a transaction, and then you can kind of look at the checklist in Sky. So Sky Slope is our digital filing cabinet. You know, Lilybet will handle all your paperwork for you, so you don't have to worry about Sky Slope that much on our team. But let's say I wanted to manage, I'm gonna manage these listings here. Okay, looks like, so Raquel's got a listing, and so I'm gonna click her listing and go into the checklist. We're not, there we go. All right, so checklist. This is where it tells you, you know, obviously you're going to need your listing agreement, all this stuff required. Seller's disclosure is now requiring a sign as of, okay, so you're going to need an affiliated business disclosure. That's another thing that they need to sign. That's required. The wire fraud is still required. Okay.
And these are all like documents that you have the sellers sign, and then you add to the listing as an attachment.
Correct. Now, not all of them. The seller's disclosure, yes. The HOA disclosure, yes. Wire fraud, not necessary. Your client's the only one who needs to sign that. Now, the affiliated business one, that's interesting. Because I'm not 100%. Let's see. Affiliate business arrangement closure.
Okay.
Effective now requiring behavior for our clients. If the agreement contract was executed on this right now, you can find. I think that's something else that just your client needs to sign, not the other side. So have your client sign the affiliated business disclosure. You don't need to attach that. The only things that you would ever attach to a listing would be the seller's disclosure, the lead-based paint disclosure, because that's something that they would need to sign, and the HOA disclosure. Okay. So anything that the other side has to sign, anything that's just for your client to sign doesn't need to be attached. Wire fraud or the affiliated business disclosure. Okay.
And they still need to sign a lead-based paint disclosure?
No,
No?
no, not on this, but I'm just saying if it was required, then that would be something you attach. Okay.
Okay.
I will email you both the only other thing that that I will tell you is there's another form called the listing exclusion form. You'll see it here. MLS change of here, this one, MLS waiver of entry, non-MLS within 48 hours. Okay, so there's an MLS rule that within 48 hours of you signing a listing agreement, you're supposed to list it. Well, that shit don't make no damn sense. You haven't taken the pictures yet. You haven't gotten prepped yet. You don't have everything you need. So there's something called a waiver of entry where you can actually write the date that you will be inputting into it. Whether you want to do that at the listing appointment or not, because you might not know exactly the day. They might be like, oh, well, I'm still need 2 weeks to just clean the place up or whatever the case may be. So don't worry about that, but just know that prior to you listing it, you will want to send that waiver of entry with the day you're going to be listing it. Okay. To your client. So that way you're compliant there. So because EXP will know that you signed the listing agreement 2 weeks ago and you listed it today. So we're going to have that waiver of entry agreement signed by your seller saying that it's listing today. You can do that after the fact, but you might want to warn them that you're going to do that. Hey, just so you know, the MLS requires me to list this property within 48 hours. Obviously, that's not realistic. We got to clean some things up here. I know you guys are doing your thing. I got to come back and take pictures once it's cleaned up. I got to do all these things. Probably going to take me at least 7 days to do that. So just know that I'll send you this listing exclusion form when we know the exact date we're going to list it. And then you'll sign that saying that you allowed that to happen. And that's all I would say to them. Okay. So remember when you're at the listing that you're also going to tell them the things that you see that they should do prior to you coming to take pictures and coming, prior to us listing it. Right. So the look of the home is one of the main things that sells it. Right. So you're going to have that confidence and courage to tell people a few things, like it might be perfect, beautiful, but maybe it's cluttered and you say, hey, is there any way that we could box some of this stuff up? Like, I love your furniture. I love this stuff, but like the more open this space is, the better it's going to show and the better it's going to sell. Is there any way we can move some stuff, pack it up, put it in the garage so that we can make sure this? And then, well, what do you suggest? Well, I would suggest this. Another easy thing would be like cutting the grass. Like if you walk up and the grass is like outgrown, and just be like, hey, if you could, I'll be coming back to take some pictures after you get this cleaned up or whatever. I'd love to have the grass freshly cut. Okay. When I come take pictures, because it's going to make a big difference. Remember, people are making a decision based on my pictures, whether they want to come see. Right. So I want to make sure that the grass is top notch. But in addition to that, let's go ahead and keep it top notch. Right. So let's plan on continuing this, because I'm going to be doing open houses every weekend. And I want to make sure that every time somebody pulls up, it's nice and well maintained. Now, it's not super rainy season yet, but when it rains, grass grows fast. So you might want to cut it every week or every 2 weeks, but let's just keep it really, really nice until we get this thing under contract. Is that fair? Because I want to make sure you get the most for your home. You'll be surprised how much less somebody will offer you simply based on the initial feel they get when they pull up. It's crazy. Okay. Right. So, if you see something outside of the house, like, sometimes how like mold grows on the outside of a house, anything like that, that's an immediate, I pull up to the fucking thing and it's just an immediate, like, ugh. Like,
do you,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Have you ever, offered to like get your hands dirty and help out with that as a service?
Yeah, I mean, I've helped people move. You know, I
Okay.
not necessarily like I'm not very handy, so you probably don't want me for that. But I've helped people move their shit for sure. You know, I
Okay.
did whatever it took. You know, like I was like, oh, you need somebody to help, you know, move. I remember one of my first deals. It was a young college girl. Her parents were buying the thing for her, and I'm literally helping them move their fucking couch into the fucking place. You know, it's like, dude, it's whatever, man. Like I'm here to help, but if you know how to do that, for instance, if you, it's a great value add. So a perfect example would be like you pull up. I don't know if you saw one of those comps. There was a driveway that had like stains on it. Look, bro, if
Yeah.
you have a pressure washer or you know some, hey man, like just getting this driveway clean will get us more money, right? Because it just has a better feel when you pull up. So these are the kind of things you'll become experts at just by doing, you know, and you just, you know, you guys are super sharp and you kind of understand these things and just tell them straight up, hey, this is what I think we should do. If we want to get the most for it, let's get this cleaned up. Let's get it look perfect. After you get that done, I'm going to come in and take some pictures. Now you can decide whether or not you want a professional to take those pictures, which you can pay for your, you know, yourself. Probably cost you about $1.50 to do. But you know, if you're good with your camera and you got one of these great camera phones, and for something in this price range, I think you can get away with not doing professional pictures, to be honest with you. But it's up to you. If you want to really wow this client and you want to get some really crispy pictures and you got somebody that'll do, you know, we're actually going to have some photographer come in and speak at our Alliance rally in the next coming weeks. Maybe use them. Like I said, it's going to cost you $1.50 or at least, right? But often very much worth it. So definitely, I usually do it for the 300s and up type homes for sure. But totally up to you. So that's pretty much it. You know, that's the basis. I'm just kind of giving you that run through. I'm going to send both of you guys the video about how to fill out the listing agreement and the other documents and things like that. Go ahead and get that done. And then send it to me and we'll just review it, make sure you put all the things in the right places. And then, you know, you should be pretty much prepped to go
Okay.
for Sunday. Any other questions?
I got a question about my offer yesterday.
Okay, go ahead.
So I don't know if I should like change it or not. It's because my buyer really wants his home. It's a first time home buyer.
Okay. How much cash they got?
Well, they're pre-approved for 350, but they want to go 5,000 more. I don't know if they can go more. That's what I asked them specifically. They can go a little more than 5,000 more.
There's not, well, that's what I said. I told you to go 355. I mean,
Yeah.
if that's your best foot forward, like I said, you know, if they can qualify for more, right? So remember, always ask the lender. So and just so you guys know, and I'll make this I'm going to do a video today to let you guys kind of reiterate. You know, we work specifically with Home First Lending and with Celebration Title Group, and that's part of, you know, they support Davos team, they support our events and all that stuff. So we really want to give them the business, and on top of that, they're our partners. So we can have these hard conversations behind. We can control a lot more when we're working with Home First versus a random lender. So, but one thing that you would ask if you're working with Home First or whoever is, hey, is 350 what their max approval is, or was that what they wanted to pay? Because oftentimes when they get a pre-approval, they tell the lender, hey, I don't want to pay over $2,000 a month for a payment. And that's how the lender will qualify them. It doesn't mean that they can't afford more. It means the lender based their approval on what they wanted to pay. What if you call the lender up and they say, no, actually they're approved easily for 375? Well, shit, now we can bump this offer up to 360, 365, and in addition, pay $5,000 over or pay those closing costs. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward if they really want it. If their max is 350 and all they got is $5,000, then what else can you do besides, you know, really just, you know, the only other things you can do is call that listing agent and say, look, I'll be honest with you, like my guys, the max they can pay is 355. They've got $5,000 in additional cash, you know, to make this happen. they really want the home, I can adjust certain things, maybe we do a less inspection period, whatever. But is there anything else that the seller that would actually make this deal more, favorable for the seller, and they might be like, well, actually the seller wants to stay for an extra month, if that would be okay, and be like, I'll talk to my buyer. Maybe that's not even a problem, or it's the best you can do. At the end of the day, you're kind of capped by how much money you got, Omar. So, I mean, you got to put the best you can, but you might not win, right? Like, we're just in a crazy market. You might not fucking win, but that's the conversation I would have with the lender, conversation I would have with the buyer. What are you willing to do? Are you willing to risk something like, I mean, I don't know what the competition is on this property, but if there was a lot of competition, and let's say your buyers were like, look, man, like I'm a handyman, like I'm not worried about inspections and shit like that. Like, if something comes up, I'll handle it. I just want the house. Maybe you offer 0 days inspection period. Like, immediately your deposit goes hard. Unless it's a financing issue, but like, as far as the property is concerned, you're like, hey, look, we're willing to do 0 inspection period, $5,000 deposit. We're offered 355, so $5,000 over. And what else can you fucking and if anything else that the seller wants that maybe is not monetary, because we're kind of tapped out, like, tell me what I got to do to fucking win.
They're doing highest and best. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I understand that they're doing that, but you might still want to. I understand they're doing highest and best. I'm going to give you my highest and best, but Mr. Mrs. Agent, I wanted to talk to you because, here's where I'm at, and I'm pushed. I let them know, like, I've pushed them to the brink. Like, I've got them maxed out right now, but I need to know, is there anything else? I've even convinced them to do 0 days inspection or whatever. Like, I just need to know if there's anything else that I can do to sweeten this pot, because I know that there might be some other folks that, have a little bit more cash, than we do. But I can tell you that my buyers love the home. The other thing you can do is have them write a letter, right? Which you'll be surprised how many times that helps. I would have them write a letter about the home and their family or whatever, put a picture of their kids in there. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that win an offer, right? When somebody looks at all 7 offers, highest and best, and there's one with a personal letter from a family who can't wait to start their life and their first home buyer, and are saying things about how they love what they did with this and did with that. So if you want to throw the whole kitchen sink at it, man, tell them to write a letter, heartfelt letter about why they want the home. I'd call the listing agent, let them know that you're going to be putting your highest and best, but want to know anything else that you can do to sweeten the pot. Talk to them about inspections, talk to them about, like you said, if your buyer really wants the home, just educate them on what we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even ask the listing agent, like, I know you're doing highest and best, out of curiosity, how many offers are you expect, or do you already have, because that could be another kind of thing that you talk to your buyer about, Omar, and say, just so you know, they've already got 6 offers. So, yeah. If you really want it, there's some things you can do, but you are taking some risks, right? Like, let's say we go 0 inspection days. You can't back out based on anything property condition wise. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just telling you that that's something that we can strengthen the deal with, that doesn't involve money, right? It just lets them know, hey, we're not going to make a fuss about anything, fix ups on the property, and those are the kind of conversations you got to have with them if you want to win-win. So,
okay. Got you. All right. I'll have that conversation.
Yeah, for sure, man. And by the way, man, like, John, I know you still have a job and shit, but congratulations on your listing. Keep pushing forward. Omar, man, super proud of you, man. You are hustling your fucking ass off, and it's paying off. Yeah. And I could tell you that you're inspiring other people on the team. So, keep that up, brother. I love it.
I got this lead from Sync too.
Good.
I never met them. They just want to put it off. I just got to know them on the phone.
That's it, man. Well, look, the money's in there. It's always been in there. Look, I mean, it just takes that kind of commitment. Like, you've got, you guys are hungry and you're going after it. Hunger is all you need. We know the system works. Like, our top producers in the office are using this system. Like, they're winning. Like, it just takes the right kind of hunger and attitude to go after it. And you guys are doing really well with it. So appreciate you guys. Anything else? Any other questions?
No.
Good stuff.
No,
All right.
thank you, Bobby.
I'll send you the videos about the listing agreements and how to write the shit up. And then go ahead, get that done, John, and then I'll review it. All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right, fellas. I'll see y'all soon.
See ya.
Peace.
Yes, see ya.